Recently within the lore, I've got a lot more into the Black Grail lore, and so I was delighted to see a few weeks ago, by the time you hear this, of a lore drop on Echron, the city of Beelzebub. So let's try and answer these questions during this lore drop. Why does he hate his father, God? When did humanity betray him? Let's get into it. So welcome back to the trenches, and let's begin. Even among the forbidding 66 domains ruled by the heretic warlords, Echron stands apart. It is shunned by both the mortal followers of hell and the servants of the court of the seven-headed serpent. No place on earth mirrors the carnage and corruption of hell so closely as this city of Beelzebub, the Lord of the Flies. The King of Gluttony was one of the first three of the most exalted angelic spirits to fall. Since those ancient days when he was worshipped as Baal of Flies, a great god of the people known as Philistines, Echron has been his stronghold, where the power of the Prince of Decay is at its most potent. That reference to Baal of Flies, according to the Jewish Encyclopedia, is the name of a god of the Philistine city of Echron, mentioned only in connection with the illness of Ahaziah, king of Israel, when the sick monarch sent messengers to Echron to consult him on the prospects of his recovery. In the trench lore, could he have maybe caused the illness in this king? In the present time of the Crusade, none are welcome to the city. Even the heretic legions pledged to Beelzebub keep their distance. They know full well that even in their fallen state, Beelzebub sees in them a glimpse of his hated father. Were they not created in his image? Are they not a reminder of his ancient past, when his mortal followers abandon him? In that ancient past, Beelzebub coveted the Ark of the Covenant, seeking to claim it for himself. The Ark is, according to the Britannica, a gold-plated wooden chest in Jewish and Christian tradition that houses the two tablets bearing the 10 commandments that were given to Moses by God, orders from his father, so you can see why Beelzebub might want to own them. His servants captured the holiest of the relics in his great victory over the servants of God at the Battle of Ebenezer. Yet, though his mortal followers seized the ark, they dared not bring it to his city. For God punished those who stole the symbol of his covenant. Plague afflicted the people of each town to which it was taken, and the Lord's hand was heavy. He brought devastation upon them, and afflicted them with tumours. So terrifying was the Creator's affliction that the people of Echron, Beelzebub's own city, abandoned the orders of their Lord, and voluntarily sent the ark back to the chosen people. Humiliated and enraged beyond mortal measure, Beelzebub swore never to forget this disgrace. Love the irony there of God using plagues to battle Beelzebub, who uses plagues as his main weapon on earth. God has done this in the past. In the Bible, in Exodus, he sends 10 plagues to Egypt, so the Pharaoh will release the Israelites. The first turns bodies of water, including the Nile, to blood. Then frogs infest the Pharaoh's land. The dust turns to lice and gnats, and it infests those who live there. Next, a favourite of his sons, swarms of flies invade the land. Then livestock are struck down by pestilence. Boils strike the Egyptians and their livestock. A storm of hail destroys both crops, and tree locusts eat the crops that remain. The land has 3 days of complete darkness, and all the firstborn sons of the Egyptians and those of the livestock are killed. So you can see he can really bring it when he wants to. From that day on, Beelzebub devoted himself to the corruption of all creation, vowing to despoil the world until all that lived would be subject to his will and absolute power. Beelzebub stalked into his great citadel in the seventh circle of hell. Here he laboured for the next 2,000 years to forge the crowning achievement of his dark genius, a plague of his own design. It would not only eclipse those his father sent to punish the Pharaoh, which I've gone over for you, but mar and corrupt all creation. Never again would he trust mankind, so weak and easily bent to the will of the tyrant God. Long he laboured, pouring much of his divine essence into his work. When the Black Grail was unleashed upon the world in the black year of 1436, it brought the world to the brink of utter ruin. The newly established Order of the Fly raised the city of Ekron from the rubble, and the power of Beelzebub seeped through from the hellgate of Jerusalem that was. It slithered for many miles, settling upon towers and walls, and streamed through the streets in a torrent of demonic hellflies, scorpions, locusts, and other infernal insects, infested with the black grail. Echron stands as the seat of Beelzebub's earthly power, where his worshippers assemble from across the globe to offer tribute to the king of gluttony. Wherever the black grail spreads and the Order of the Fly raises its Lord's standard, they seek offerings to bring back to the city. To the missionaries of the black grail, it is a realm of beauty and divine vision, a whispered promise of the world to come, and a place the hearts yearn to behold. To everyone else, it is a domain of abject horror, where a fate worse than hellfire awaits. After nearly 600 years under the ravages of the black grail, Echron is a city of overflowing splendour and revolting decay. Entire temples, churches, mosques, pagodas, shrines and altars from every corner of the world are scattered throughout the city, borne there by the hands of untold millions of grail thralls. I want to focus for a moment on that term, pagodas. These are tiered towers that can be seen in East and Southeast Asia. They can be linked with Buddhist temples and can be seen in Japan as one example. So we know at least some followers of the Black Grail, and perhaps some front of the war, perhaps involving the court of the seven-headed serpent, go out that far. And somehow, the followers of Beelzebub bring back entire temples. Entire bloody temples. Brilliant. Amidst streets seething with undead corruption, stand wonders of art, marble statues, elegant pillars, frescoes and icons of gold studded with precious stones. Yet though they are worth the ransom of 1,000 kings, it is not their monetary value that interests Beelzebub. It is thought that the Lord of the Flies can tap into these objects of devotion, feeding on the power of adoration that still lingers in these monuments of faith, like a parasite swelling upon its host until it is swollen to the point of bursting. He leeches the power of faith until he is so engorged with it that his great wings might once more carry him skyward to storm the gates of heaven. To make the religious objects more palatable and pleasing to their Lord and Master, the clergy of the Fly conducts elaborate rites of desecration. Through complex rituals, they corrupt icons and holy places, transforming them into morsels, offerings to be devoured by his ravenous gluttony for worship and adulation. Yet he will never be sated, though he seeks to fill the terrible emptiness festering within him. His hunger can never truly be assuaged, no matter how much of creation he consumes, for what the Lord of the Flies hungers for above all else, above all his other unnatural appetites, is the sole right to divine worship, a birthright he feels his father has usurped. In his mind, the natural order is for the parent to die so that offspring may rise in their place. And who more suited to take the throne of God than Beelzebub, the most gifted of his children? I really like that tidbit there, and the betrayal that means he no longer trusts humans. To me, they both give him a little more personality and reason for his actions, fleshing out his character. I'd like to see some more of that for the other main demonic players. We are told in the Great Hunger Law that Beelzebub has a special hatred for the process of creation. And earlier on in this law drop, it's mentioned that the faces of his followers, even those pledged to him, remind him of his father because they have his aspect to them. And so in the law of the Great Hunger, we get that little hint, the process of creation in that law being pregnancy. And I wonder if that might tie into his dislike of his father's creations and their betrayal. So the last little bit says, "Thus it is written in the tablets of Echron, be not afraid, for behold, I bring you tidings of great joy, which shall be for all the people, for the black grail has come." So let me know what you think to this law and the little historical hints we've had woven in there. And if you like this video on the Crusade, you might also like this one.